Now, introducing my next featured guest on the show, we have a singer, a songwriter, musician, model. I'd like to give a very heartfelt welcome to the Denison Feature of the Week, Lola Lennox. Massive welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Hi.
Hi there, and I'm really excited to have you on my show and to tell my listeners about your latest single, Lala Love Me, which is doing the rounds on the airwaves and is a follow up to your 2020 summer anthem, Back at Wrong.
Thank you. Well, it's a song that's really a celebration. We're all going through a really difficult time as a world right now. And I realized the power of music and how it can really uplift people's spirits. And this song feels like a party and it feels like daydreaming for something to welcome something good into your life. And I wanted the energy of the music to really just make people want to like bop their heads
Yeah.
and get up and dance and enjoy it.
Yep, and I've described your new record as an up-tempo, radio-friendly, feel-good record. And am I right? It kind of incorporates classic Motown sounds while keeping it contemporary at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I my like main love musically is music from the 60s and 70s, particularly the female voices from those times. And I like to incorporate that into my music, but it's also important for me to make it sound fresh and new and modern. So it's like a blending of the two old world and the new world
Yep.
together.
So a little bit of a fusion, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. And who did you collaborate with on this record?
So I wrote the song. I wrote it with a guy called Carl Ryden over in LA. And so we had it as a demo. And it kind of was sitting on my shelf for a while. And then this year came around and I started to release some singles. And in September, around September, me and my mum and my boyfriend started to work on the production and finishing the track. I have like a little very basic home studio set up in my living room, and my boyfriend's great at the kind of technical side of production, and my mum was kind of remotely giving ideas and points over email and FaceTime, and we were having to figure it out with this like new way of living
Yeah.
where we can't actually all be in a room together, but we made it work.
Yeah, lovely. And if I just reveal to a listener, your mother is, of course, Annie.
Yes.
And moving on to the song now in question, what story does La La Love Me tell the listener?
It's kind of about that point when you meet someone you really like and you don't know if it's going to go somewhere or not, and you're kind of living in this like state of like really excited. You're excited and hopeful about it, but you're also a little nervous and a bit frantic and always thinking about it and checking your phone for the text messages. It's kind of about that feeling.
Yeah. And La La, Los Angeles, LA, is there any kind of relation there to where you're presently residing in America at the moment?
The reference is more to, when you listen to songs from the 60s, the Ronettes or the Shangri-Las, those three-piece girl groups, and they go like la la la, like that kind
Oh,
of,
yeah.
yeah.
So I guess Los Angeles was just a coincidence then, maybe.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about LA, no.
And I just wanted to ask, how do you find London life compared to Los Angeles life? Or should I say, how do you find Los Angeles life compared to London life?
I miss London a lot. I miss my friends, and I miss like walking down the street and the culture and the people, and there's so much I miss about the UK. But when I moved to LA, I kind of fell into a good network of musicians and writers and access to studios that I was really trying to push for when I was in the UK, and it wasn't really happening. So
Yeah,
I saw opportunity over here.
yeah. Of course, you get better weather on the West Coast as well.
That definitely
Yeah,
helps.
yeah. And you mentioned daydream earlier on, daydreaming. Would you say your music's quite dreamy? And as a songwriter, do you have a tendency to daydream as well?
I I would imagine all songwriters probably have a tendency to daydream, because to write a song is quite an existential thing where you're like creating something out of thin air from your imagination. So yeah, definitely, I think all my songs kind of come from a place of kind of you kind of leave being present with the room, and you kind of enter into this. A song to me is kind of a daydream,
Yeah,
but it's just expressed through sound.
yeah. I've just made a brief note daydreaming is a unique way to detach yourself from the real world and to find your inner consciousness.
Cool. I
And
like that.
moving on, I mentioned Back at Wrong earlier, which was your previous release to La La Love Me. That song was accompanied by a music video and an exclusive dance remix by Sondra, if my pronunciation serves me correct.
Sonda.
Sondra, yes.
Yeah.
And that's a nice nice release for the club scene, isn't it? That remix.
Yeah, so I did Back at Wrong. I released it back in July, and I just wanted to have a song, like a remix to go with it that really had a bit of a like contemporary club beat to it. And these guys, Sundar, do such a great job at remixing songs. So it was really fun to release that. It was a shame that the clubs aren't open, but
Yeah,
people can still like dance around in their living rooms to
yeah,
it.
ace. And will there be an EP on the cards? And if so, will there be a view of it being pressed on vinyl at all?
There will be an EP in March, April, and I'm starting to work on it now, which is really exciting. And I was thinking about the potential of pressing it on vinyl. Like that's on my list of potentials. I
Yeah,
would absolutely love to have that.
great. And when not in the studio making good music, what else is close to your heart? I do hear nature's very dear to you.
Yeah, I love going for walks, or like you can go hiking in LA. I love reading, listening to podcasts, watching documentaries. I'm a chatty girl, so I like to just sit and have a chin wag with people too. That's
Great.
good.
And your music also featured on Serengeti. Was that series on Discovery?
It was on the BBC actually.
BBC.
Yeah,
And you know, like the Lion King and Disney, do they? Are you? Do you have a fondness for them type of films, soundtracks, movies, even animation?
yeah, yeah. I love animation. Is so like beautiful and comforting. And to work on the Serengeti show was it was really it was like I had a lot of pride in being able to kind of work on a project that was expressing and displaying these lives of animals in such a kind of it's a sacred place, the Serengeti, and it's so untouched by humans. And to kind of bring people sitting in their living room into that world, it felt quite special to be part of that.
Nice. And your music's available on all well-known platforms.
Yes, it
And
is.
yeah, read in the news. 2020 was a big year for music consumption from people streaming from devices. Are we kind of seeing the music, listening to music, kind of going in that direction? I suppose it's already gone in that direction now, hasn't it?
I mean, we can't do anything else really, can we?
Mm, mm,
We're all depending on the apps and listening to music and FaceTime
yeah,
and there's not much else to do
yeah,
anymore.
so true. But you did mention vinyl, which is making a resurgence as well.
True. I just bought a vinyl player for Christmas actually.
Lovely. And
Yeah.
you're well connected. Your website's lolalennox.com. And you're on
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Lola_Lennox, and TikTok as well.
It's true.
Well, I think that wraps up everything I wanted to ask you today, Lola. Just want to say thanks again for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to me today, and it's a pleasure. And I'm going to get your new record on the airwaves now. Would you like to present it?
Sure. Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Lola Lennox, and you're about to listen to my new single, La La Love Me.